Welcome back to No Mo Rural Data Centers. My name is Millie Ryan, and today we're featuring a speaker at the last public forum, Dana Bowers. Dana spoke out about the fact that we are not permitted to vote on the issue of data centers and is asking that that be reconsidered and questioning how it is that three people can make a decision that affects so many of our lives. Dana is a lifelong resident of Franklin County, and she is speaking from the heart. Her message is clear. She's not rejecting progress. It's about where and how that progress happens, and whether the people who are most affected have a say in it. Let's begin the podcast with hearing what she had to say at that public meeting.
6,176 as of last night. I haven't checked this morning. 3,429. These two are enrollment petitions. Stop data center development at Crooked Creek and no data centers in Franklin County. I am very well aware that this is not hearing on data centers. I get that. This is an open discussion / action commission meeting. Thank you for allowing me to speak. Thank you, Paul. With that being said, there are two statements that have been made by our sitting commissioners and/or county attorney recently that I really feel needs to be addressed. One, other than those with adjoining land to the proposed data center sites, the majority of the residents in Franklin County will end up being in favor of or indifferent to these developments of the two proposed data center parks. Well, I'm here to tell you again, and I'm not going to go away, that those of us opposed to both of these developments are the majority. And here is just a small portion of the fact in black and white, which is what I just gave you. There have been several petitions circulating just as of today. The accumulated amount of signatures is almost at 10,000 just in Franklin County residents in direct opposition of the rezoning of the current agricultural land to allow proposed AI data centers being constructed. In addition, a national petition started circulating exactly 1 week ago, and is now sitting at over 10,000 signatures as of this morning. I felt that by handing you an actual piece of paper with a QR code on it for you to scan would make it very easy for you to open the link showing the massive opposition to both of these proposals. After today, and you can actually see the people's names too, by the way. After today, you can no longer claim that you're unaware of the black and white facts to your constituents. You do not want our lands rezoned. With that being said, my second point is in reference to a direct conversation that I had with Mark Piontek on March 31st of 2026. Our conversation went as such, and I quote, "I am requesting documented proof of the laws stating that our commissioners are not allowed to put the rezoning of these parcels of land to a vote of the people." Mr. Piontek stated, "You're not going to find anything that says they can't, but you're not going to find anything that says they can either. The county commission has limited powers granted by the state either from the Constitution or the legislature." I responded with, I was aware that due to the fact that we are a charter county, we the people can't legally force our commissioners to put the rezoning requests to a vote, but the commissioners can choose to do so. Mark stated, no, they can't. Now, Mark, I don't know if you're intentionally being deceptive and manipulative of the law because you have a conflict of interest behind the scenes with the proposed data center developers and or land sellers, or if you're just blatantly being negligent of your paid job duties as our county attorney. But I took your AI generated papers that you handed me that day, and I went and did my own research, and I found Missouri State Statute section 49.650, governing authority of each county without a charter form of government shall have the power to adopt ordinances or resolutions relating to its property affairs and local government for which no provision has been made in the Constitution of the state or state statute regarding the following: the promotion of economic development for job creation purposes. Number 2, the governing body may submit qualified voters to the county any ordinance, any resolution or regulation proposed. It can go to a vote. I am not an attorney. I do not have any official political background. I'm just another resident of this county. But I find it very interesting that I was able to take your Westlaw AID research paper where you put in a question, and I did actual human contact communication with people doing research, and I have found documented proof that makes it clearly evident that I have commissioners, you guys you can put this to a vote and let us vote on this issue. One last thing. Due to the mental, emotional, physical, and financial strain that you've placed on myself and my family and throughout the county, feel free to forward me a check for the portion of our county attorney's salary for doing part of his job for him.
Dana, can you tell us a little bit about your background, where you're from, how long you've lived in the area, and how you came to be aware of the data centers?
So I am a lifelong resident of Franklin County. My grandson is actually fifth generation Franklin County resident. So our family, extended family, we've all been around this area for many, many years. I am no one in particular as far as a government official. I don't serve on any boards. I run a nonprofit disaster relief foundation in the community trying to help people recover from disasters that happen to them. When I became aware of these two proposed data centers, I started doing my own research due to the fact that my son has an incurable disease that we live in a rural area specifically to maintain his health. And he cannot live next to or in city areas that are highly polluted. If he does, it exacerbates his disease and makes him sicker. So it concerned me that these two massive infrastructures were going to be built within a mile of my parents' home that I will be inheriting when they pass away, as well as we own a home. I own my home that's less than 5 miles from one of the two sites. And there's also 3 schools, one of which my son will be sitting in next to these sites. So I worried about my son's health. And once I started doing that research on the negative health effects of these AI data centers nationwide, what they're having on people, it started concerning me even more. So I started doing even more research, and it got to the point of getting to the root of the problem with the corruption within the local politics as to why these data centers are even proposed for these 2 pieces of land in this area. Because I've said this before, and I will say it every time I speak to someone, I don't have a problem with the data centers going in. I do understand how our current government is trying to make sure that our technology stays up with or ahead of people worldwide. I just feel as if, as well as many people in the community do, that they need to be placed in already heavy-duty industrial areas so that they're not negatively harming the environment and the people that live around them. If they wanted to build these infrastructures in Franklin County, they should have found an already industrial zoned piece of land to build it on. They should never have been even allowed to come in and proposition our farmers to take over almost 1,000 acres of agricultural pieces of property, which is our livelihood. It's our way of life on a daily basis. I'm raising chickens and beef and taking care of our animals, and it's how we choose to live our life. And building those infrastructure, not only smack dab in the middle of people's homes, you're interfering with and you're going to be causing harm to those of us who live around it. So if they would have propositioned the county of placing these elsewhere in an already industrial area, my tone wouldn't even have gotten to this point. My voice would not have probably even been heard. I don't have a problem with that. It's where they're trying to place them. There's a lack of regulations on how they're built and where they're built right now at a federal level. And these big corporations are running around, big tech companies are running around and just literally devouring all of our agricultural land. And this is how we feed people all over the world. We lose over 3,000 acres of agricultural land in our nation on a daily basis. We can't keep going in that direction. There has to be some sort of a set railroad track for us to follow with this, and those regulations and guidelines were never set in place before the push for the data centers in the nation started. So that's kind of why I started getting involved, is they don't belong here. If you want to build them, you just need to build them where they belong, and taking over our agricultural land is not where they belong. My biggest issue right now, and where we're standing with the force behind this movement in our county, is we have 3 men that are commissioners, one of which was not voted in. We only voted in 2, Cox and Overschmidt. Dave Schatz was not voted in. He was appointed by the governor last year, and he was even filibustered. And I was part of that petition to try and filibuster him, because we did not, as a county, even want him as our commissioner. And now everyone is seeing why so many people tried to keep him from becoming a commissioner. We cannot, it's one thing for our commissioners to have the right on a daily basis or weekly basis to vote on making changes in our community, small changes such as whether or not to allow someone to acquire a license to become an auctioneer, or rezoning a small parcel of land to turn it into, from a parking lot into a storage unit area, or rezoning a piece of land to go from empty, completely empty, to putting houses on it. But when you get into this type of decision that's going to alter the way of life of thousands of people around it, that is something that the people here in this county should have the right to vote on. And my outburst, if you want to call it an outburst, or my aggressiveness with my statement at the last meeting, stems from that specific point. Is we cannot allow 74,000 plus voters in this county and over 100,000 residents. We should have the right to vote on this type of issue because it is such a large issue. We should have that right. And when I went to the county attorney and asked for documented proof that we could or could not vote on this, he point blank told me, and I quote, "Nowhere are you going to find a place where the commissioners can put it to a vote, but nowhere are you going to find anywhere that says that they can't." So, and that unfortunately was based off of research that he did by typing in a question into a AI screen, asking, I don't know, Chat GPT or whatever it was. That's just a generalized question that you go in and you put into AI. But when it comes to being an attorney, there's laws, books, people you need to speak with. There are actual laws for this county. He did no research. As our county attorney, he did no research. To me, that is blatant negligence. And handing me that paper, expecting me just to follow along, I was bound and determined to find information that would give more of a clarified, definitive answer. So I picked up the phone and I actually spoke with someone. I sent an email to another law firm. I actually texted someone else who works for an attorney. They started digging, and with human contact communication and actually delving into the law, the actual physical legalities behind how our county is set up, it does not say that they can't. It actually says that they can. It says any and may. And when it pertains to them trying to rezone 2 pieces of land that they're going to be utilizing with that rezoning for purposeful gain of job increasement and income and tax money, then it gives the commissioners the right to put it to a vote of the people and let the people decide if this is what we want, because they work for us. We don't work for them. And for months now, we have been forced to work for them. Loss of sleep. There's countless hours that people have taken off work to do research, to go to meetings that are during times of the day that we can't normally make meetings because we're working. So we lose income because we're taking off work for this. The stress of all of this, I'm stressed out. I'm afraid for my son's health and well-being if these two buildings get put in here, because that just means the devaluation of my home, one, but two, I'm going to have to move because my son cannot live around something like this, nor can other animals, nor can other people. What's the point of having millions of dollars that they're propositioning our commissioners with when there aren't even going to be many people left in the county in that area left here to even utilize that money? Let's trade off the livelihoods and the lifestyle and the health and well-being of our people that live around this area for money. That's literally what they're doing. I'm sorry, but not one man, not two, not even three men who don't even live anywhere near the proposed sites can tell me that they know best for everyone in this county. So legally, I am pushing for them to let us in the county vote on this. They need to make sure when they put it on the ballot, though, that it is set on the ballot with specific detailed verbiage and clarity. But if they choose not to allow the rezoning, then it stops dead in its tracks, because these two data center big tech companies, Provident and Beltline, they can't build on two pieces of land that are currently zoned agricultural. They have to be rezoned first. So you can literally save the soul of the county by just saying no to the rezoning of the pieces of property. That's all those commissioners have to do. It's that simple. It's that simple. Right now, the way that the county taxes are structured, the state of Missouri as a whole has a right to come in and change the way taxes are structured in our county. So if the state changes the tax structure, then in turn, it changes the money that is coming in from these data centers to the county. It will literally bypass the county and roll straight to the state. Look at how Kehoe right now is pushing so hardcore for the tax restructuring for the state, the income taxes, how he is trying to manipulate and change the tax structure of the state. You see how he's been doing this for almost a year now, and it's gotten major headlines just in the last few months. But if you look into that and how he's trying to restructure the taxes and who pays what and when and where and how and why, if he restructures the state taxes after these AI data centers are approved and are going in, even though these developers are coming into the counties and cities and townships telling us at a local level, oh, you're going to get 20 million or 50 million or 500 million a year. I mean, they don't even know because they don't know who's going to actually be housed in those facilities. They're just builders. As soon as Kehoe changes the tax structure of the state, all of that money that was supposed to be funneled into the county level and the local level from the building of these infrastructures is going to bypass the county and go straight to the state. Our lifestyle is being infringed upon by big tech companies. And that's not us being hysterical. It's actually those of us realizing we all do still have a voice. This is our county. And three men do not deserve the right to speak for 100,000 of us. We should have the right to do that and go and vote on this.
Agreed. We need to have our commissioners consider putting this to the people for a vote. And thank you so much, Dana. On this note, we're going to call the episode to a close, and I appreciate your time and all the effort that you've put in to bring this situation to people's attention. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Thank you.
That was longtime local resident Dana Bowers, who is asking, and we all should be asking, that these commissioners realize the impact of this decision on the community, on the environment, the long-term effects of changing zoning from agricultural, residential land to industrial should be put to the people who live here.